Okay, YouTube, it's me, King Nazu, with Rosario Vampire Chapter 11. We start off with Skune having a bit of a nightmare about the events that happened with the Public Safety Commission, and dreams that Kuyo was about to defeat him, and suddenly realizing that was in fact a dream. And when he wakes up, he finds out that Mocha is in his room, preparing a meal for him, and also in a bit of a maid's dress that he finds rather attractive. And while he's enjoying the food, he asks Mocha, did she defeat Kuyo? And Mocha is rather surprised that Skune can't remember, and she suspects that due to this being his first experience uh, of being transformed by her blood, that he can't exactly remember the fight he had 2 days ago. So she decides to not tell him and says that it doesn't matter, everything's pretty much worked itself out. And elsewhere, the students are talking about how Skune defeated Kuyo, and while some of them are rather impressed and others are in a bit of disbelief, there is one student, a rather muscular one, that takes a certain interest in this, and not in a good way. So we cut back to Skune and Mocha walking to school, and Kurumu decides to greet Skune and says that she's relieved that he's alive. She's even more in love with him now, and was really impressed when Skune punched Kuyo. But before Skune can become aware of this, Moga, pins down Kurumu and says that Skune doesn't remember what happened, and they need to keep this a secret unless they traumatize him. So Kurumu decides to play along. Then Yukari comes and tries to say that she thought it was pretty cool when Skune became a vampire temporarily, but Kurumu managed to stop her and does the same thing with Mocha. And Skune continues to remain rather oblivious. I'm beginning to see why Skune has a C average. So, so Skune heads to the bathroom and starts to contemplate just what happened with the SC, and the guy that overheard that Skune defeated Kuyo sneaks up on Skune and says, "Is it true that you actually defeated Kuyo?" And he says that he's interested in this because he wanted to fight Kuyo, but never got the chance to because he was too powerful at that time. And now that Skune has supposedly defeated Kuyo, he wants to fight him. And Skune says that I couldn't have possibly defeated Kuyo, I'm nowhere near as powerful as him. But Gin comes around and says that yes, Skune did defeat Kuyo. And the guy, whose name is Chopper, says that, great, now there's Gin here too, another guy I want to fight, and with you two around, this is gonna be too much trouble, so I'll just catch Skune later. And then Skune asks for an explanation of how he could have possibly defeated Kuyo, and Gin basically says that it was because Mocha gave her blood to Skune when he was about to die. And like in the movies and books, whenever a vampire injects their blood into a person, they could have a chance to become a vampire. And this mortifies Skune because uh, he can can't rationalize becoming a vampire. So he starts to wonder if he'll actually turn into a real vampire, and what else could happen now that he has Mocha's blood inside her? That he has Mocha's blood inside him. So Mocha comes by and tells him that class is about to start, and Skune is still thinking that he doesn't want to become a vampire and how to best tell Mocha this. And at the worst time ever, Mocha asks Skune for his blood, as usual. And this really makes Skune upset. Skune is just outraged and asks, why didn't Mocha tell him that he had became a vampire? And the fact that this happened and you didn't tell me, and now you're asking me for my blood just to feed you, that's really insensitive. And to top it all off, he says that he doesn't want to become a vampire. The very notion of it disgusts him. And Mocha, all teary-eyed, says she's sorry and runs off. Real drama here. And Skune is just thinking to himself that maybe he's been a bit too harsh on Mocha, but she still doesn't understand that he just wants to be normal and wants to live a normal life when he goes back home. And another worst opportunity, Chopper comes back and decides to challenge Skune. And meanwhile, Mocha feels bad for not telling Skune the truth, and feels that now that Skune's upset at her, he'll probably never want to be her friend anymore. And then inner Mocha reminds her that Skune just said he doesn't want to become a vampire, and that both outer Mocha and Skune don't exactly understand what's going on with Skune, while she does. Then back on top of the roof, Chopper has revealed his true form, which is in fact a troll. and he's constantly trying to attack Skune, thinking that Skune is holding back and wants to see the true strength that he used against Kuyo. And he's constantly trying to think of an incentive to get Skune to fight. And Mocha, another worst opportunity, decides to pop up to explain things to Skune, but she gets caught by Chopper, and Chopper decides to use her as a damsel in distress, and offering Skune as an ultimatum that if he doesn't start fighting back, that he'll snap Mocha's neck. And Mocha decides to tell Skune that she's quite fine with it, and even if Skune hates her, she'll still care for him. And I'm not really, though this strikes me as a problem, because according to vampire lore, a snapped neck is not going to kill a vampire. And even if it injures them, they'll just regenerate. But whatever. So this causes Skune to fight back, and he thinks that he still has Mocha's blood inside him, and thinks he just needs to tap into it to beat Chopper, since he's nowhere near as powerful as Kuyo. But it turns out he can't, and inner Mocha realizes that Skune truly is clueless about what happened. About his condition, and he tells Mocha what to do, and Mocha quickly tries to head over to Skune and bite him on the neck so she can inject her blood. And just when Chopper does a karate chop on Skune, Skune transforms into a vampire hybrid and catches the karate chop in time. And within his thoughts, Inamoka is explaining that Skune is not a full vampire. He's still human. He's just possessing the power of a vampire temporarily, and it'll continue to last until he he runs the blood dry. And Skune manages to easily handle Chopper by simply doing a seismic toss on him and throwing him into a fence. And the fence pierces right through his face. And then Inamoka continues to say that Skune was very foolish for thinking that he could become a vampire so easily, since contradictory to laws and movies, becoming a vampire is not as simple. So he Skune decides to apologize to Mocha and finally makes a promise that he's going to become stronger so she won't always have to put herself in danger just to save him. This was a pretty good chapter. It ties into the previous two and explaining just what happened to Skune and also setting up a goal for Skune to get stronger so he won't have to be heavily reliant on Mocha always saving him, or any of the other girls. Next, we move into Chapter 12.